Hey witches. So I did the video about the element of fire, so I thought I would do one about the element of water. So when you think about water, you know, water is the core of life. Water is essential for everything. Without water, there's no life. Which we can say that for, the sun too, but we have to have water. So I came up with some things and collected some information for you guys on how to honor and use the element of water in your magic. So when you think about water, think about purification, cleansing, nourishing, even healing in certain ways, calming, emotional healing, mental health. Just water can be used in a multitude of ways for a multitude of purposes. So the first one I'm going to get out of the way is moon water. And I'm not going to say very much about it because you know what moon water is, and there are, God, probably the biggest witchcraft video topic on YouTube for some reason. But you clear vessel or a cauldron. Cauldron is the more feminine. You could even use the chalice, whatever. It is suggested when you collect rainwater to use glass or ceramic, but we're talking about moon water. So when you do that, leave it out. Nighttime, sunlight doesn't touch it. You need to make sure that you amplify it with crystals. If you want it to be even more powerful, I always put clear quartz inside and selenite on top of the vessel that I use for my drinking water. And then the vessel that I use for spells, I charge that moon water, but it also has in it some crystal quartz points and some powdered selenite because I don't drink that one. Because you can't put selenite in water because it dissolves. But you can dissolve it in water if you want to make some really strong spell water. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about moon water. It's done. So some correlations. Give you a list, of course, of all the correspondences. Did I say correlations? The correspondences that go along with this, with water. But you will hear me mention some throughout, but I will give you an entire list of just correspondences. The crystal correspondences are going to be those that remind you of water, either through their translucence or their transparence or their color. So everything from crystal quartz, I can't talk today, guys, crystal quartz to even amethyst, because amethyst does have those blue tones, and if you think about what makes the compound color purple is going to be red and blue. So blue is included in that too. So you can also use amethyst when working with water. Incense would be anything containing any of the correspondences that you will see on the list or that you'll hear me mention. It's also good to include anything with incense that's bringing in the air element to use in water spells, because the way that it flows like water, the way the incense smoke just kind of flows like the water, it just kind of, seems to me that it would be appropriate. Plus, you're going to hear me talk about how when you have certain things that are balanced, anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. So another thing that you can use is candles. You can use blues, you can use purples, you can use whites. What I like to do when I work with water, not when I'm doing my calm down candle, that one's always just a blue throughout candle. But if I was going to do a weather spell and I wanted, because we needed rain, I would take a white candle and I would roll it in probably blue glitter with probably a little maybe silver, just a little bit of silver, and then the blue. And that would be what I would use. And it's good to include candle magic in with your water magic because of the way the wax flows. It resembles water. But I'll talk more about water and its uses for spells in just a minute. I've got some other stuff. So I wanted to get the little correspondences out of the way, and I'll link them so it won't take, an hour for me to list them all, because that just takes too long. And you're not going to remember them all anyway, because there's so many all the time. So I'm going to talk about rain. And something interesting that I found about rain when I was looking up about rain. But I found that it is most likely to rain during a waxing moon because of the pull of the moon's gravity on Earth. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's interesting because right now it's waxing and it's been raining for the past 2 days. And I'm glad, because we were about to be pretty droughty, if that's a word. So, rain. Rain is the purest form, okay? It's water in its purest form. Unless you live in a city with really horrible, horrible pollution, rainwater is amazing. I always collect rainwater. I have it in my Witchy subscription box for the next upcoming month. I feel that it's so important to use it, and I really love to use rainwater and then make sure that I collect it during the waxing moon, because you can use that and add that to any spells for growth and manifestation. I also have rain that I collected under the dark moon, sort of the same concept as moon water, charging moon water under different phases, except you're collecting it during that phase. So you're also getting rainwater, so you're getting your elements, and you're getting the water both, straight from nature, and there's no better place to get it. So one reason why rain is so powerful is because it is the result of the water cycle, which it's kind of, the result, it implies an end. The water cycle has no end, technically, but it's the result, so to speak, of the water cycle. It's what happens that we benefit from, I guess, would be the best way to put that. But it's like, it's the culmination of the water cycle, and it connects the elements of fire, because the sun evaporates the water. The air element is represented in rain because of the water vapor is in the air, and it's, so tiny that it's almost air, and it's in the air gathering those qualities. And plus, it's usually pretty windy when it rains, and it's connected to the earth, because that's the place where the water came from in the first place. It had to accumulate somewhere on earth in order to be evaporated, to go up into the clouds from the sun. So it connects all of those aspects of Mother Nature and all of that power in that little droplet of rain. So it's just like, it's the best form of water to use. I love to have as much rainwater as I can. That's why I'm putting it in my next box, so you guys can have some too, because it's nice to get a little thing of rainwater in the mail, and you don't even have to go outside and collect it. But one of the fun things about collecting it is that you get to be out, outdoors, and it does make it personal. But we're going to talk more about collecting it in a minute too, because I have some cool little interesting things. So you also have storms, and I have always heard that storms, if you collect storm water, you use that for baneful magic. And I do use storm water for baneful magic, but you can also use storm water to amp up spells. You just have to be very clear on your intention. However you're using that water, you need to be clear on what you want it to do. Because when you've got the storms, the water is charged by lightning. The molecules change the water. The atoms are changed in the water through the strikes of lightning slightly, and it supercharges them. But it doesn't last forever. So you have to use that pretty quickly if you're using, and that's called lightning water. And we'll talk about that I think that's on my next little page that I've got. But that popped into my head that you want to do that. But if it's regular, just storm water, you can store that. But you can use that to amp up any spell. So next time you have a storm, grab some of that and just put it in a mason jar. Label it storm water. Keep it somewhere cool and dark and use it. So rainwater, what you can do with whatever type of rainwater you're making, you can use it in spells. You can, like I said, you can do banishing with dark moon water. Did I say that yet? But you can. I like to get my dark moon water and use it. That's the main thing I use it for, to banish or to drink in a tea before shadow work. Sometimes I will leave some as an offering for a kate, and I drink a good bit too. So you can use it for drinking and offering as well. Clearing, you can use it for cleansing, calming, raising vibrations. You can use it for just take some and put it in a spray bottle and spray it around an area. You can use it to cleanse. You could even use the spray to cleanse, but you could cleanse with a bath. You could cleanse whatever you want to cleanse with rainwater. You could just, put a little on a towel and just, wipe up whatever. You can anoint your third eye and do a meditation. You can also just anoint your third eye just, to give it that energy. You can anoint any chakras that you need to anoint for, any repair, to raise vibrations in those areas. And you can drink for abundance and healing. I already mentioned drinking it, but drinking it for abundance and healing. But I talked about just drinking dark moon water. Dark moon water is not really for abundance and healing. Dark moon water would be more, try to banish bad habits that you have in yourself, or to set an intention. You could also do it that way. So more about water. We have some storm water information coming to you now, because there's a good bit, and some of this stuff was interesting to me because a couple of these things, I have a book called Water Magic, and it doesn't mention some of these things, which is interesting because I definitely would have put these in the book. But when you have storms, and a side note, if you work with a kate, she is also highly tied to lightning. So if it's ever lightning really strong, definitely collect some lightning water and offer that to her. But anyway, so when you have storms, they're wild, but they're also calming. One of my favorite things to do when we're having a thunderstorm, if I don't go sit out front where the porch is covered, I'll open my back door at least and just enjoy even just the sounds of the wind and the rain. I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. They're so calming. But all four elements balance each other out. It creates a balance while the storm's occurring. So what's happening during this time is everything is creating a balance. All of your elements are balanced while there's a storm coming. So what you can do to help with spells during a storm. This is if a storm is occurring. So say you wanted to do whatever spell you're working on, and it's going to storm. You can tell. So what you can do is you can begin getting into state and have your materials ready. It's going to rain that day, or you notice it start getting cloudy and you thought, I want to try this. Or maybe even have a little spell kit ready with the majority of the stuff you're going to need if you plan on doing this, because it's cool. So what you're going to do is when the storm starts, you're going to start your spell. When the winds start to pick up and you start to smell rain, you're going to start your spell. So everything's already cleansed, all your materials are ready, you're into state. So you're going to start your spell when that happens. And if you can do this outdoors, it would be wonderful. You would need like a covered area to do this, or you could even sit in front of like your door, preferably your back door, so your neighbors don't get to, steal your magic by watching you. But have your back door open or a window. But what you're going to do, you're going to draw upon the energy of the storm while you're raising energy. So you're sort of drawing upon, Mother Nature. You're drawing upon her energies through the storm while raising your own energy. You can also use the lightning strikes to add power to your intent. So if it's lightning, when that lightning strikes, try to send out some of that energy with that, or even gather some of that energy with one strike and then release on the next strike, whatever feels comfortable to you. When it's lightning, I'm in such a magical mood. The beach, fire, and lightning put me in my most magical state, almost in a trance. I love it. So I put next, go out. Go out, okay? Even if you're just, going out just for a second, just to maybe say the spelly part of your spell, or, just to go out and ring a bell, or go out and, just watch the storm for a minute. Just anything, just go out and have the rain from that storm that you're using this energy from touch your skin. Get wet. It was raining yesterday, and I had an umbrella in my car. I never use an umbrella. I never do, unless my hair's all straightened and I'm meeting people for something and I want to look my best. But other than that, I don't care. I don't use an umbrella. I love to get wet in the rain. Now, if it's 30 degrees or 40 degrees, no, I don't like to. But if when it's nice like this, I enjoy it. It's nice. So after ending everything, what you're going to do is ground yourself outdoors. So if the rain has stopped, you can go and do this when it's still raining. That's fine. But if you want to wait till it stops, you can. But go out there, ground yourself outdoors, and take your shoes off, stand there barefoot, and just watch the water seep into the earth. And as it does, visualize your intention, seeping into the earth, becoming one with Mother Nature, becoming one with Mother Earth. Just visualize that. It just basically gives you something else to focus on while visualizing. But it's cool because it's connecting you to all the elements all at the same time, and you get to be outside, and it's just really cool. So now I'm going to include a little link on a website that I found, and then I'm going to come right back and talk about a couple other cool things about water. So this part of the video, I want to share this with you. I just have to. I thought this was just so cute, and I just stumbled upon this website today. It's called The White Goddess. This site's got everything on it. It's just cute. It's even got a community section. Check it out. I'm going to put it in the description. Anyway, it says a lot of things, about water, kind of that I've already said, but it gives you some extra information. I love how it talks about the liquidity of the water and the love that the water has, just that loving touch. I mean, taking, a shower, a bath, or swimming, it's just wonderful. Walking in the rain, jumping in the ocean, just fantastic. But one thing that's cool about this, I want you to read that whole little intro on your own. It's cool. But right here where it gives you these correspondences, I think these are cool. Some of these they shocked me. It was interesting when I read this, and I looked it up a couple other times to see if it was true, because I was like, how did I not know that? What the hell? So it gives you the direction, of course, the type of energy. It's feminine, so of course it's going to be receptive. The color, the basic nature. Again, things we've already said. The color, I love how they spell it with a U, so they must be in Europe somewhere. But talking about blue, of course, and any form of blue. Even things that are translucent, transparent things. Both of those are, sort of related to water, because you can see through them just like you can see through water. So when you're thinking about your crystals, don't forget that. But anywho, then talking about the different places. And I have a video on all the different types of water, all of them, and I'll link it to this, and I'm going to put it on the new channel. I'll make an addition to it that I need to make at the end of that video, but definitely watch that video. It's so interesting talking about the different places and how each place is related to a certain magical element or magical intent. It's so interesting. So rituals, of course, and I'm going to talk more about that and do a little thing where you get to create your own water ritual like you hopefully did the fire one or are planning on doing the fire one. So again, there's the ritual forms, and then it gives you the herbs. And I like how it's so general. It just says aquatic. If it's an aquatic herb, it's a water. If it's fleshy, like a really succulent, it's thick. The leaves are thick, and succulent. And then lettuce, loving, and then like roses, gardenia, even thinking about like maybe hibiscus, jasmine, even chamomile comes to mind, and those may be tied to other elements too, but they just pop into my head when I'm thinking of water. So I will also put a link of all your herbs, all your crystals, all your resins, all your barks, and all that, like I always do, that go with water for you this time. So then you got your stones, your crystals. Like I said a minute ago, the color blue. Just think of things that are blue, even maybe amethyst. But you would want it to be not like a rainbow amethyst that's opaque. You would want it to be one that's translucent. So any stones that are transparent or translucent, again, because they look like water. Sorry about that. So musical instruments, this was interesting to me. The cymbal, the bell, and all resonant metals. And that kind of makes me think it's because of wavelengths. I don't know, I don't want to go off onto some nerdy weird thing and then not even be right, but just, sound travels in waves, and water also travels in waves. Just kind of makes me think about that. But there may be other reasons. I'm sure there are. And then you have the creatures. This was the most interesting part to me, that the cats. How did I not know that? How did I not know that? Have I never wondered? Never just wondered. A cat to me is just always like almost the same as a human. I don't even really consider them animals. So I don't really think about, looking up stuff like that. So anyway, and it's so ironic because cats fucking hate water. Now they love to drink it, especially from flowing sources. If you do have a cat, spoil your cat with this is off topic, but a glass or porcelain movable, drinking apparatus. You can find them on eBay. They're not that much, and it just keeps the water flowing, and cats love it. They love to play in it. They love to, bat it around a little bit, get their little hand wet. That can help them clean their little face. And also, they drink more. And the more hydrated your cat is, the longer your cat's going to live. Anyway, gotta throw that in there for my cat loving witches. So the frog, of course, turtle, of course, dolphin, whale, otter, seal, dugong, most fish. And that's interesting that it says most fish. I wonder which fish are not creatures of water. And shellfish. So the cat just was so weird to me. Because if you look at that list, it's the only one there's a couple other mammals there. But it's the only one that's a mammal that lives on land, has fur, it's the only one that's there all the time and hates water. Anyway, so the season is autumn, the time of harvest. The time for water is dusk. So if you want to do a water working, the best time is at dusk, but it does not have to be. Nothing has to be. Magical tool, of course, the cup, the chalice, of course, the feminine shape of the womb, the cauldron, And I'll link my cauldron video. I haven't done one yet for the chalice, but I will. But the cauldron, check out that video. I love that video. So anything receptive that's in the shape of a womb is going to be a feminine tool, and water is very feminine. So the scents, taste, natural symbols, shells, a cup of water. You could use even, sand, a cup of seawater. I say these things because when I go to the beach, I come home with a good bit of stuff because I know I'm going to use it in my magic. I'll link my video too below on that. And then types of magical rules. It's got those listed there. Really no shockers there. And then the goddesses there, of course, the ones that are associated with water. But I also sort of associate Lakshmi with water just because of her history. But that's just me. I associate with her with other things, but I would include her in that list. And then the gods are listed there too. So anyway, just wanted to add that little part in, and then we'll keep talking about the element of water. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I just thought it was crazy about the cat. But anyway, so one thing that I had to include because this video is about water is my favorite thing in the world, which is the beach. So I have a video that I will link in the description that I made all about, I think I called it sea witching. It's got everything in there. And then I also did a sea witches protection bottle. I'll link that too. But any elements that you find on the beach are correlated to water. Some of them other things as well, but definitely water. Shells, sand is earth also, but it's got salt water. It's charged by that salt water. Just anything. Whenever I go to the beach, I bring so much stuff with me, as you can use it in so many ways. So any elements on the beach, any items on the beach, whatever you see, take it. Ask permission, leave an offering, just like I said in the sea witching video. But I'll let you watch that because you can get some really cool ideas from that video. So next, I was going to talk about an oil that you can make. So the reason you'd make this oil is to help you, and it would just be like, you could call it water oil, or just draw the elemental symbol for water on the top of the cork. And it will help you build energy. It'll help you harness the elements, especially the elemental energy of water. It'll help calm you. And that gives you self-love through self-care. And it can also help you practice gratitude. And the reason for that is because water equals life. You have to be thankful for water. Without water, there is no life. So anyway, when you have correspondences that are going in oil, remember, make sure they're dried out. You don't want to put fresh flowers in oil because they get gross. And it's always good to use a really nice, especially when you're making something like this that you're, wanting to calm you and bring you self-love and self-care and gratitude and all this sweet stuff. You want to use a high-quality oil. So use an extra virgin olive oil. You don't have to buy the most expensive one. Just don't use vegetable oil, please. Use a good EVOO. And maybe not the cheapest one, but a decent bottle, and it'll last you a while. Because you don't have to make the entire bottle. You can make half a bottle. You don't have to make the whole thing full of oil if it's one you're not going to use all the time. I'll leave that up to you. But what you can put in this is lilac, honeysuckle, white patchouli, and a few drops of rainwater. Now, oil and water do not mix, of course, so before you use it, you're going to shake it anyway, so it's going to have it spread throughout. But put a few drops of rainwater in there, and some blue crystals, some blue crystal chips. And if you don't have any blue crystal chips, you can use amethyst crystal chips. You can use clear quartz crystal chips. Either of those will work. And water is the basis of many magical workings. So you could add that oil into just about any spell because it's relating to building energy and harnessing the element of water. So, the energy of water. So you can add this into anything. You could anoint candles with it. Just anything you'd use a regular oil for. You can do a lot with it. So another thing you can do, since water is so magical and is the basis of so much stuff that we do, those teas that I mentioned in my tea video. And I love to use rainwater when I can to make a tea. I don't have enough of it to do it every time. I just don't. But I always have enough moon water for my tea, which I will usually do full moon water for my tea. Unless I'm doing a divination tea, I'll do my dark moon water, or a dream tea, anything related to that. I use the dark moon water for. But those witchy teas are wonderful to drink before spell work, after spell work, in the morning to just set a daily intention. Even at night before you go to bed, set an intention, drink it, go into a meditation, meditate on that intention, and boom. So anyway, love the teas, and I'll leave that link, and it has all the recipes typed up for you at the bottom of that link. And then you can also use water to express gratitude for water. And you don't only use water, you use other stuff. But I'm going to give you the link from my fire video, because I talked about how to create a fire ritual, and a lot of you probably watched that already and don't want to hear me say the same exact shit again, except the colors being different for the candles, so I'm not gonna. But use those things I said at the very beginning of the video, those correspondences and the ones from the link, and then the instructions from the fire video, and create a water ritual to honor water. And these are so fun to make. They're so fun to create. Gather the supplies. You get to be as creative as you want, and then performing the rituals, having them in your BOS whenever you want to do them. They're fun to do. You can even do them with a group or a friend. They're fun to do. So you can show gratitude to water through that ritual. You can also just honor water by doing anything you feel that honors water, like cleaning up a creek, picking up trash near bodies of water, signing petitions to help save stuff, whatever you can think of, donating money to organizations, investing money in businesses. I think it's called For Ocean. I'm not 100% sure, but they sell those bracelets of recycled plastic that they get from the ocean. But for every bracelet you buy, $20 goes toward the large amount that they have, where they send out these huge ships with these crews of volunteers and just pick up tons of plastic and trash out of the oceans. So if you can afford it, please buy a bracelet or two. They have other products too now. I think they have water bottles, pens, and just other stuff, but who cares what you get? Just honor water by doing that. We gotta fix this planet. So whatever you can do, please do. And I'll shut up now about that, because I could go on for the rest of my life preaching about how shitty people are at taking care of this gorgeous planet that we are so blessed to have. Anyway, you can also honor water through a bath. Same thing I said in the fire video, how to set it up. The only difference would be the candle colors I would use for my water bath thingy would be, I would make sure that I put a blue candle, a white candle, a purple candle, and then me, with my little silly creative self, would take a white candle and then sprinkle it with purple and blue glitter. That way I could have all 4 different candles all around my tub, and I would put the elemental symbol for water in each one and a heart, and then those would be my candles. And I talked about all the rest of the stuff in the other video. I'm not going to go over all that again, but you would do the same thing for your bath to honor water. And while you're doing that, you're surrounded by water because it's literally touching your skin. You know, you can really connect with the element while you're in the tub with the water. And you should do that every time you shower or bathe. Connect with that element. Just take 30 seconds or even less and really connect with that element. All right. You can go out in the rain, like I said before. That helps you raise your vibrations too, but you would go out just to appreciate the rain and say something out loud about your gratitude for the rain, because it's important that we have it. So important. So you can also just listen to the sounds of storms, listen to the sound of the rain. You could record, make your own recording of a thunderstorm and play it back and enjoy that to relax or help you fall asleep. Or you could look up a recording on YouTube with those sounds and meditations. You could do that. And you can also work with your chalice and your cauldron to honor water, because those are feminine tools and they're related to water. So those would be good tools to use. The colors, I think I already said this, but blue, green, indigo, and black. I also have a video about Eclipse water. I know I'm putting a lot of links in here, y'all, but I've done over 200 videos, and I've done videos on just about everything. So why say it again, or why do another video? Just give you the link. So I'm going to give you a link on Eclipse water and how to use that in magic, and a demo of me doing something where you use Eclipse water to banish. It's the most simple thing possible, but I'll show it to you. It's interesting. But if you ever have an opportunity to collect Eclipse water, collect it. Even if you don't plan on using it ever, get it, because you never know. You might want to use it. Listen to what I say in that video. You can also use water to scry. Just get a dark bowl and then fill it with water. I would have some divination tea, do a short meditation just to get into state, sit in a dark room with a candle sort of behind me, so it's not, right on the bowl, but I can still see, and then scry into that water. I usually use a mirror, unless I'm at the beach. If I'm at the beach, I scry into the ocean at night, and I talk about that in my Sea Witch video. So when you get to that video, check that part out. That part's fun, really fun. So some other things that you can do with water is you can perform spells, of course, but certain types of storms affect your spells outcomes in different ways. So it's best to do, if you're going to do spells during storms, it's best to do certain spells during certain storms, if that makes sense. And I'm also going to talk about if or not you can collect that water, or if you should store it or just leave it be. So the first one would be a lightning storm. So if you live in Florida, you get a shit ton of lightning. I lived in Florida for a few years, and it was during the really developmental part of my craft, and I worked with lightning so much. It was just something that I became obsessed with, was lightning. So wonder I didn't get struck by lightning. One time I actually ended up neck deep at Daytona Beach in the water during a lightning storm, just because I was trying to get closer to the damn lightning, because it was, you could see it, or the water, the ends at the horizon, it was coming down, and the pattern it was coming down, I knew it was mine, and it was for me, and it was just, I was in tears. It was beautiful. It was one of my favorite moments in my path. I have tears in my eyes right now, but it was the universe, it was God, talking to me, through that fucking lightning. And I knew it was just amazing. It was amazing. I'll shut up. Y'all probably think I'm insane. But anyway. And no, not Jesus' Father God. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about, everything. Everything. Universal source of all energy. Alright, so for light. If it's lightning, I just wrote light. I didn't write lightning because I was too lazy. So for lightning storms, they're heavily connected to the fire element. And like I said earlier, it's because the atoms change the molecules in the raindrops. So they become supercharged with the element of fire. But it's temporary because those bonds break down eventually and they lose that supercharge. So if you're going to use that, use it as soon as possible. I would say within 24 hours at the most. So if you're going to store that, you're only going to store it for a little bit. Use it quick. The faster you use it, the stronger it is. The types of spells you can use that for is if you want to break a bond, say you want to do some sort of cord cutting or even banishing something, you can do that. Use it for that. It's good for restoration, and that's because it's got that supercharged energy in there that it can restore. And also re-energizing. Same thing. Because, you're bringing that energy back. So things that are focusing on low energy, if you have low energy and you want to fix that, lightning, storm water would be great to have. Even to drink some of it. I would drink whatever was left just because it's cool to me that it's charged with lightning. So if it's really windy, which happens a lot, if it's really windy, of course, it's got the air element heavily in there. So the repeated momentum, I'm trying to find out how I'm going to say this. The movement of the wind, the way that it continuously moves the rain throughout the sky as it's raining, helps it to become even more infused with that air element, and that's why it is tied to air. So if it's really windy in a storm and you want to do spells with that water, so that would be for anything tied to intellect. And the reason I say that is because when I think of air, I think of sharp. I tie my athame to fire and air, more fire than air, but it's also tied to air, so are wands. But that's my cat. If you just heard him chortle, he's in my lap. But that made me lose my train of thought. He's just so damn cute. But if you want to do any spells that relate to intellect, use this water for those if you can. And so if you're doing, like, you're studying for a test, you want to be, you want to be able to learn something really fast, whatever, you can use it for that. Also creativity, because that kind of ties to intellect. You could probably use these for creativity. Also reflection, transformation. You can use these for banishing too. Nourishment and healing. Which anytime you're adding water into a spell is normally for nourishment and healing, because that's what gives us life. So plants. And the windy water, you can also collect that, but it lasts longer than the supercharged lightning water, but you still want to use it, kind of quickly, because it's special. It's got another element within it. So plant water. So of course that's tied to the earth element. And when you go out and get this stuff, you're connecting to all of your elements, because you're out there in the lightning, the wind, your feet are on the earth. Go out barefoot and collect. Even your hands, your face, your body. Don't take an umbrella with you. Go out there and collect this magical substance and this magical atmosphere with these elements creating this harmony and balance, and absorb that within you. Do that when you go out and collect your water. Don't tell your husband or wife, hey, go set a bowl outside for me. Don't do that. Go out there and, set up your bowl. Maybe even say a few words. Thank the universe for the water, Express your gratitude for it then and there. You're putting it out in the universe that you're thankful for, and that's already putting the wheels in motion for your spell, because you're showing that you're appreciative for what you already have, even if it's as simple as a jar of water, or is going to become a jar, but it's now a big bowl, because, the bigger the bowl, the wider, the more water you can get, and you pour it into your jar to store. Back to plant water. So this is when you would go under a tree and take the largest container. Like I just said, the wider the container is, the more water you can get in there at once. Because if you just sew a little jar, it's got to be raining really hard to fill that up. So you get your huge bowl, sit it under your favorite tree, and then just leave it. Let it get as full as you can. Take that water. This is the water that you want to use in your spells that tie in with abundance, prosperity, longevity, strength, because this water symbolizes abundant life. So definitely get you some, and because you don't have to wait on a storm or anything. Just the next time it rains, go under that tree and get that water. And you can store these waters in ceramic or glass. I like to use glass jars just because it's what I do, but if you have ceramic, you can do that too. And it's best not to use plastic just because it's not elemental. Ceramic and glass are. So, anyway, during the collection, you don't have to do these things, but they help. They help stack your magic. So as you're collecting your water, your rain, make sure that you have an intent in mind. And these are optional, okay? But if you have an intent in mind, you have a spell that you want. You say you want to do an abundance working, and you're going out to get some plant rain, and it's getting ready to rain, and you're not going to do your spell during the rain. You're just going to get that water. So go out there and get that water. And if you can do the spell during the storm or the rain or whatever it's doing, that's fine. But get that. And then as you do that, say your intention out loud, or either think it in your head, and start that visualization even on your walk to the tree and your walk back in. And you're already starting to put that out there. And then as that water collects, it's building on that intention. So also, which is optional, which please try to do this, use a natural basin, like whatever you're collecting it in, not just storing it in, but whatever you're collecting it in. I have a big old, like from the 70s, this big wooden, I don't even think it's a bowl to eat out of. I don't know what the hell it was used for. Bread making or something maybe. But it's huge and it's wooden, and that's what I use. Unless I use my big glass Pyrex thing, I'll use one of those. Sometimes both at the same time if I'm getting plant water under my trees, because it just gets so much more. And I will have some of that in my abundance box. So anyway, and those are the boxes that I'm selling. If you haven't seen them on my Facebook yet, check them out. And I'm going to do a video where I open a couple and just show you what's in there, because I'm going to do them by intention instead of just subscription boxes, because subscription boxes are annoying because they always put the same crap in there that I always have every time I get one. So I thought I'd try something a little different. Anyway, so during collection, if you do use a natural basin to collect the water, you can even try to later incorporate that into your spell. You might, create something in it, have it nearby, turn it upside down and do something on top of it. I don't know, just if you could incorporate it, it would just stack that magic. And this is not optional. always say thank you to the universe for the water. Say thank you to Mother Earth for the water. And leave some kind of offering. My favorite is scattering a handful of birdseed. Because I don't like to leave coins in my yard. Because I don't want a squirrel to choke. I don't want to leave wine out there because it's already raining. And what's the point? It's just going to get wet and water in it. So I'll just scatter that bird seed. And then my little friends have stuff to eat. So another thing that you can do that's a type of spell is a rain spell. Sometimes we need to make it rain. Because the summer just gets too hot and it's cracked and it's just, ugh. So when you do that, you can do it. There's lots of rain spells out there. What I do, and I'm going to take you through this very quickly, but I've done this a few times for sun and a few times for rain. The last time I did it for sun was for my daughter's birthday party last year, and it worked like a charm, and the rain didn't touch us, and it was wonderful. But when I want it to rain, I will take 4 candles, white candles rolled in blue glitter, and then I usually don't anoint them with anything but just olive oil, but if I had that water oil that I talked about, and I think I'm going to make some, I would use that. So anoint those candles with that oil if you want, and then rub them in whatever you want. Like I said, I like to do the glitter. You could use any correspondences as well. And I will always light a cinnamon incense to speed it up so that the water comes quicker. And then put my crystals out, make sure they're charged with make it rain, bring rain, bring rain. And I will draw out the area. So, like, if I wanted, just a crazy storm, gigantic rain cloud to come and just cover the 3 states that surround me, I would draw those 3 states. If, I just felt like I was really wanting it in my neighborhood, just for some reason, I would draw my neighborhood. Draw wherever you want it to rain to the best of your ability. And then what I would do with this ritual that is different than what I do for sun magic is I would take the candles and drip those candles to symbolize the raindrops all over that paper. 13 drops from each candle. You could do 9, but I like to do 13 when I do this. So 13 from each candle, dripping all around. And as you drip, visualize the rain coming. Visualize the sky getting darker. Visualize the water coming down. What does the thunder sound like? Is there lightning? Just be careful. Don't overdo it and bring yourself a damn tornado. So be careful. You want a calm, gentle, steady rain to come and make sure that all your plants don't die. You can also go outside with your bells, your drums, whatever, and do a little rain dance. Just do a little rain dance. You can come up with a chant. You can do it in your head. You can do it out loud. Those are fun to do, especially if you have a fenced-in backyard. But if not, and you don't want your neighbors to see you, go do it in the woods, near your house, or do it at night. Wear all black and do it at night, and they might not be able to see you. But some other things you can use water for, you can anoint petitions with different types of water. You can even submerge a petition in water and then bury it. You can throw things in moving water that's moving away from you to banish stuff. But I have an issue with this. So many spells will say at the end, discard in a body of water moving away from you. And I've even seen this for like when you're done using an ammonia jar to just dump it into it. Don't do that. And I've said this in another video. I don't remember which one it was, but please don't do that. Don't put the only thing that I'll put into a river flowing away from me is ashes. And I blow those ashes toward the water and then a little bit of the ash will get in the water. The rest will carry to wherever, and that's enough. And that little bit of ash isn't going to hurt the environment like if I threw a piece of paper in there or threw a glass jar. Who does this shit? Please don't do that. Just burn whatever it is you want to banish and blow it if that's your choice to get rid of it, to use the water, which it is effective. And another thing you can do is manifest by using natural bodies of water. This is kind of off topic, but you can take something you want to manifest, write on a petition, and burn it. Put that in a container. A jar's fine, whatever, as long as it has a lid, because you're going to drive with it. Mix that up with some milk and some honey. Mix those things, stir them counterclockwise, say your intent, do all your visualization, all that stuff. And when you're finished, put the lid on and get in your car to a moving body of water. And then it doesn't matter if it's going toward you or from you. You just want it to be a moving body of water, because it's said that moving bodies of water are the best places to collect water for magic, and they're not because they're not stagnant. They're moving, they're flowing, and they have more energy. So fill the rest of the container up with water from that body, and then shake it up real good. And then as you do that, continue to visualize, say your intention out loud, and then dump that into the water. So you're still doing just the ashes, and you're adding a little milk and a little honey. That's not going to hurt. That's okay too. But what the cool thing about that is that once that water that you added that to is evaporated and has gone through the entire water cycle, after about, a week or two, the next time it rains, go out and receive that blessing, the blessing of your intention, because maybe, just maybe, some of that water is in that rain that's coming down on you. And if it's not that actual rain droplet touching you, it's still the same, storm or rain, whatever you want to call it. But I just think that's cool, because you're like receiving a blessing. And you would do this the next few times it rains, but give it time to evaporate. But that's another thing that I think is really cool when it comes to water. So you can also just anoint candles with water. The only time I'll only anoint them with water is if it's eclipse water or if it's seawater. Sometimes when I do an abundance spell, I will just dip one of my candles into one of my bottles of water from the ocean. And that's it. And then stick it in the holder. So you can do that. Now, I've given you a lot of info that goes right along with water. And I have one more video I'm going to link. I can't remember if I said this at the beginning, because this video is pretty damn long. I've done it in like 5 sections or segments, because stuff keeps interrupting me today. But I have a video on different types of water. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll link it. And I made a mistake at some point in the video, and I'll correct that mistake and tag it on to the end of that video before I post it, because I misspoke at one point. That's why I haven't put it on this channel from the other channel. But anyway, so I want to challenge you, those of you that are moving up to intermediate, and hopefully a lot of you that watch this channel are advanced. So if you're intermediate, give it a try. If you're advanced, I know you can't wait to try this. So I gave you the instructions to do the fire ritual. Come up with a water ritual. If you want to do the fire one, that could also be part of the challenge. But I challenge you, my dear witch, to come up with one of these. Because when you start creating your own, and you have ownership over these beautiful rituals, and you know that you came up with every bit of it. And don't just do it and, to make it all pretty and glittery and then post pictures on, or little video snippets of it on TikTok to show off and brag. Don't do it for that purpose. Do it for the purpose to honor and to celebrate whatever you're creating the ritual for. And that's not to say don't take pictures and don't share, because you can, even though I wouldn't, because these are rituals are highly personal to me. And you'll never catch me sharing a ritual, maybe a demo of a ritual, but not an actual ritual that I'm performing, because I just feel like it's taken away from the point. What am I doing, making a video to share, or am I, enveloped 100% in my magic? What am I doing? That's why I don't do a lot of like legit spells on camera. I'll do demo spells, just because I'm making a video. I'm not, it's just hard for me to do both, because I'm like, where do I draw the line, Plus, we do have the Witch's Pyramid. Be silent. Don't forget that. So, anyway, I challenge you to do that. I also challenge you to to collect river water. Not river water. I can't talk. I put RW. Collect rainwater with an intention and use it in a spell. So one of those three things, either the fire ritual from the last element video, a water ritual, or to collect rainwater while you have an intention, and then use it pretty soon after in a spell tied to that same intention. And see how much more magical it feels to you, because it's going to feel different. It's going to feel different because you've had that little walk in the rain to the tree, to collect some plant water. And that little walk back is already raising your vibrations, connecting you to Mother Nature, connecting you, to the elements. It's already getting you in that magical headspace. And that's 90% of the battle, is getting our heads, getting our minds, getting everything ready to just hone in on that desire and get it. So try that. Give it a try. See if it feels more magical to you or not. I guarantee it will. So I'll post the 9 million links that I have for you. And if I have anything else that pops into my head, you'll hear me go, oh, and I want to add this. But I think that's all, because everything else is in my other water video, because it's a really long video. But that's all I have, witches. Blessed be. Like, subscribe, and share.